It's one of the questions everyone is asking these days. When will prices start coming down? We could get some clues later this morning when the feds release the monthly report on inflation.
Plus, hepatitis outbreaks around the world continuing to be monitored. Courtney Friedman has been following the story and will be joining us to talk about the latest developments. Outside with Live Cam, the phrase that is kind of the phrase of the day for Justin Horn is record challenging heat. He'll explain coming up.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning. It's Wednesday, May 11th.
Thanks for joining us. Yes, challenging heat. That's one way to look at it.
Especially as we go into the weekend, but we'll get details coming up.
For now, let's look at today's 9 at 9. Later today, the abortion rights debate takes center stage on Capitol Hill. The Senate will vote on a measure to put abortion rights into federal law. But it's not expected to go far because Democrats don't have the 60 votes needed to move ahead. This is the latest fallout from that Supreme Court draft opinion leak indicating Roe v. Wade could be in jeopardy.
A report from the government today is expected to show that America's 40-year high inflation has already peaked. Analysts predict the report will show an inflation rate of 8.1% last month, a decrease from 8.5% in March. But some economists warn core inflation, which excludes food and gas prices, could stay high for months.
The House of Representatives voted to deliver $40 billion in aid to Ukraine. Some of the money will go towards weapons, training, and intelligence support. The rest will be used for refugees assistance, public health, and medical support. The bill still needs to be passed by the Senate and signed by President Biden.
The firearm homicide rate in the U.S. in 2020 was the highest recorded since 1994. That's according to a CDC report. From 2019 to 2020, the overall firearm homicide rate in the U.S. increased about 35%. Researchers believe that the pandemic might have exacerbated existing social and economic stressors that increased the risk for homicide and suicide.
Despite the historic drought in California, the state is using more water, not less. Water usage rose 19% in March compared to the same period in 2020. Now, new water restrictions are being imposed by limiting outdoor watering, and the California Senate is going one step further, passing a bill to limit indoor water usage.
Australian authorities have found that 91% of the Great Barrier Reef has suffered from coral bleaching and is believed to have been brought on by warming waters. Bleaching usually occurs when stressed coral ejects algae from its tissue, depriving it of a food source. If conditions don't improve, they can die, turning white in the process.
Investors are heading into the trading day after a mixed Tuesday for the markets. The S&P closed up slightly, 0.2%, and the Nasdaq gained 1%. The Dow posted its fourth losing session in a row, closing down 0.3%.
Warnings from the tech industry. The explosion of remote work options could mean more high-paying jobs and American companies go overseas. They're pushing lawmakers this week for an expansion of visa programs to allow more foreign tech workers into the U.S. They say if Congress won't budge, companies will likely just keep more workers in places like India and China.
It's the end of the run for the iPod. Apple now says the latest iPod, the current iPod Touch, will be the last and will only be available while supplies last. The first iPod was introduced more than 20 years ago. And that's today's 9 at 9.
Outside with Live Cam, we had at or near record temperatures. I think we broke one last weekend. We're already getting kind of a precursor of what could come this weekend. Here's Justin with an update as we take a live look at the airport. Justin.
You guys mentioned that term, record challenging heat. And by the way, I can't take credit for that. That's an Adam Caskey-ism.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's appropriate. It really is, because temperatures are going to be right there, right near records over the weekend and into early next week. Temperatures right now, 77 degrees at the airport, 78, Pleasanton, 75, Kerrville, 75 in Uvalde. And the forecast next few days, you might have guessed, is going to be hot. A few clouds in the morning, then afternoon sun. We'll see that through the end of the weekend. The heat index will probably be an issue, at least a little bit during the afternoons. As we look at the pollen count, came in just about an hour ago, and everything looks pretty good here. We did add a few allergens to the list, grass, willow, pigweed, and pecan, but they're all low, so not a lot of problems there. As far as the radar goes, we've got basically clear conditions, just a few clouds out there. We had some showers and storms earlier out near Del Rio, and especially last night, some severe weather out there, but everything's cleared up now. Our KSAT 12-hour forecast. By noontime, 86 degrees, 95 by 4 p.m., 95 by 5 p.m. Southeasterly winds anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour, and then we fall down into the 80s by 8 or 9 o'clock. There is obviously more heat on the way. We'll talk about how close we get to those records. We'll also discuss the lunar eclipse that heads our way this weekend. More on that in just a bit, guys.
And a quick look at the roads with TransGuide. Looking out at I-35 at Cesar Chavez, things are moving there. And the last look at I-37 and Jones Avenue, just a normal slowdowns around the area.
Okay, morning headlines. We have an update on what some are calling karma and has to do with 2 deaths. And road rage with a gun being pointed at a driver's head. Another actor getting stuck at the scene. We'll explain that one. And robots are about to take over hospitality, that industry there. David Sears is here to explain all of that. Morning.
So if you call room service, a robot shows up with your food.
Not going to be surprised if that starts happening more and more.
Don't have to tip them.
Or do you?
I'm not tipping any robots that shows up. What are they going to do with my money? Come on, Mark. We'll get to that in just a second. Okay. First, here is your bizarre story from midweek. A man kills his girlfriend, buries her body in their backyard, and before he can put the shovel down, he goes down with a heart attack and dies. It's all happening in South Carolina. The victim, 65-year-old Patricia Dent. Well, according to the incident report, Patricia was strangled by Joseph McKinnon, and then he buried her in a pit in the backyard of their home. After his heart attack that killed him, a neighbor noticed him on the ground unresponsive, so they called police. Patricia was supposed to be at work but never showed up, so that was a red flag. Her twin sister, Pamela Briggs, trying to cope with the loss.
I would say a nightmare that, yeah, I want to wake up and it's a dream, but I know that it's not reality. This is life, and a big part of me is gone, and now I'm going to have to learn to live with that.
Yeah, what makes it more difficult for Pamela, she said there were no signs of anything like this happening to her twin sister. All right, talk about a scary and crazy moment. Meet Francisco Garcia, victim of road rage that he admits pretty much caused. You're riding with him on a street in Arizona. The black Durango next to him keeps crossing into his lane, so Francisco decides to cut in front of him and get away so he doesn't get hit. Garcia admits he probably shouldn't have cut him off, but he didn't want to get into a wreck. He thought he got away until he pulled up to an intersection. His rear camera shows the other driver pulling up right behind him, and then that driver gets out, and then Garcia's dash camera catches the rest of it. He shows that guy putting a gun right to Garcia's window with his finger on the trigger pointed right at his head. He calls 911. The guy ends up punching the window a couple of times. You saw that, didn't break it. And then he walks away. Garcia gets out to get his plate number. The two ended up getting in a fight that was not on camera. Eventually, they parted ways.
He started fighting with me. He was grabbing off top of me. He was trying to grab the phone in my hand. I remember the gun because it felt cold on my back. It felt like a metal piece on my back. It changed my life. It basically changed my whole perspective on my life and changed everything. And I see things differently a little bit now. And I'm very thankful to be here still.
Police still looking for the guy with the Durango and the gun. Scary minutes right there. And this is Oscar-nominated actor James Cromwell, who starring in his own little video these days because he's super glued himself to the counter of a Starbucks inside. Unfortunately, we can't show you that PETA video, but here are some of the details. He is protesting the coffee shop's policy of charging customers extra for plant-based milk. The Green Mile Babe and Secretariat Star did another reading. It was a statement complaining about that upcharge. He said it is discrimination against those who don't or can't use milk, and milk hurts the environment. He accused the coffee chain of raking in huge profits while customers, animals, and the environment suffer. The cops eventually came to the shop and told the protesters they had to leave. Don't know if they are going to be charged with anything as of yet. Talking about making advances with robots, though, there is a whole family for the hospitality industry being built in Las Vegas. This is Adam. He's being programmed to be a barista and a bartender. Customers are going to have to tell the AI what they want, and then it'll make it for them. Rich Tech has also created Maitre D. It delivers drinks and food to tables. There is the UV Guardian. It disinfects hotel rooms. Richie will deliver your room service meal. And then when it comes time to clean up, Dusty will take care of all that for you. The acceptance of these products is going to increase over the next decade. Of course, there's the concern of being an employee and getting replaced by Richie. A culinary union official says if the workers get replaced, the worker will get retrained. If the position is completely eliminated because of the AIs, the employee gets 6 months of pay and health care to help find another job.
And there's the catch. I mean, going high tech is, probably part of our future, but how it impacts the human workforce, altogether different story, especially in a town where hospitality is our biz.
Yeah, but what is Richie going to do with my tip money if I give him? That's why I say I save tip money.
Yeah, maybe only take 10% versus the automatic 20.
Give him nothing.
Nothing.
It's a robot.
I wonder where David stands on this. I have no clue.
Poor Dusty.
Tipping a robot.
All right. Thank you, David. Right now, 9:08. He's still grumbling. 9:08, about 76 degrees. Still ahead on GMSA at 9.
We are getting ready for the 10th annual San Antonio Book Festival that's happening a week from Saturday. Coming up, we're going to introduce you to one of the many authors who will be at the festival and how she hopes to motivate young readers.
Plus, work finally going to begin on the I-35 expansion project on the northeast side. Traffic Authority Stephen Cavazos will explain what drivers can expect when we come back. A groundbreaking ceremony happening later this morning for the I-35 Northeast Expansion Central project.
35 remains a major gateway to and from San Antonio, but as the city continues to grow, so does the congestion.
TxDOT addressing the problem with a $1.5 billion project expected to expand 20 miles.
Traffic Authority Stephen Cavazos shows us how this will take drivers to new levels.
Well, it's been almost a decade in the making, but work on the I-35 Northeast Expansion project is expected to begin soon. And although it will take several years to complete, TxDOT officials say this project will offer relief to drivers down the road. Now, the goal is to improve safety and mobility, but also address the increase of traffic in the area. Now, over the course of construction, crews will create elevated lanes to help reduce travel times. Now, these lanes will be created between the main lanes and frontage roads. HOV lanes will also be added for vehicles that have 2 or more people, such as buses or carpools. Now, this project will span roughly 20 miles from North Walter Street to FM 1103. That's 3 counties, including Bexar, Guadalupe, and Comal. According to TxDOT, the NEX project will also provide flyover ramps to Loop 1604 West and 410 North. Laura Lopez with TxDOT reminds drivers to be patient during this process.
People just don't like construction, unfortunately, but in order for us to help the congestion that there is today, we need to build this project now. This will help to reduce a lot of the congestion that we see now.
Now, there will be several lane closures taking place over the course of construction, but the main lanes of I-35 should remain as is. Stephen Cavazos, KSAT 12 News.
And Stephen will be at the ceremony later this morning. I'll have an update for you coming up on the news at noon.
And for now, we are at 76 degrees, but I think things will continue to warm up.
Yes, for sure. It is going to be another well above average day. Temperatures forecast to make it up into the 90s. A lucky few yesterday did get some rain. I think we're all jealous of those folks out in Del Rio, Brackenville, Kickapoo Caverns. They picked up some good numbers out there with some thunderstorms overnight. There was even a little bit of severe weather, a pretty good wind gust down there at Laughlin Air Force Base. But all that rain has since gone away. And it should be noted that some of that rain fell over some drought-stricken areas. We see this red color that represents extreme drought. So the rain was pretty well placed. Now, you do notice, though, that there is extreme drought starting to kick in places like Uvalde and Medina County, and that's working its way toward San Antonio. We need a lot more rain here as well. There is not a lot in the forecast, I'm sorry to say. It looks like that even today we're not expecting any showers and storms even out to the west. The month in review, as we look at May so far, now we're only 11 days in, right? But we're projecting that the next several days, even into next week, it's going to be above average. So these days in red represent above average as far as temperatures go. And it's been basically every day this month. We're 8.5 degrees above average for the month in general. And if May were to end today, it would be the hottest May on record. We just wrote an article about that on KSAT.com if you want to go check it out for some more information. But this has been a really, really warm start to the month of May. And as we look at the satellite picture, those leftover clouds from the storms yesterday still hanging around. So we're going to get some off and on cloudiness this morning. But then the sun pops out and it is going to be another toasty day. Temperatures right now, 77 at the airport. Dew point is at 70. Southeasterly winds at 14. Thank goodness there's a breeze at least, and we'll continue to see that breeze throughout the day as well. Some thicker cloud cover from, again, those storms. They put out some clouds. There's no rain left, but Uvalde's looking at mostly cloudy skies. Same story in Hondo. Clearing a little bit, though, here in San Antonio. And temperatures 77 at the airport, 75 Randolph, 74 Boulevardy, 74 with some clearing right now in Seguin. The dew point trend today, yeah, it's pretty sticky this morning, but the dew points do come down some by the afternoon into the 60s. Gives us a little bit of relief, not much. Even with a dew point of 67, you're still going to see a heat index. So it feels like temperature is going to be up there near 100 again this afternoon. And we can show you that here. We'll fast forward to about 4 o'clock, and it'll feel like 97 here in town, some triple digits elsewhere. The heat index was up above 100 yesterday, maybe a little bit lower today, but not much, not much. Big picture, we look at the water vapor. It always gives us a good idea of how everything's kind of spinning and setting up here across the country. And it's been a really interesting pattern to watch. We have an area of low pressure out to the west, a trough. And you have a ridge across the middle part of the country, but it extends very far north. And then you've got an area of low pressure on the east coast, bringing some cooler weather and unsettled weather there. We're underneath that ridge where things have been very toasty and likely stays that way. Now, the ridge breaks down some, but doesn't really change our weather pattern that much. We stay with temperatures in the 90s and basically rain-free conditions. 86 noontime, 88 by 1 p.m. We're up around 95 by 4 p.m., 95 by 5 p.m. There are those gusty winds, and then eventually falling down into the 80s by 8 p.m., 88 degrees. And looking at the extended forecast, we'll go 96 Thursday, 96 Friday. We start to challenge those records Saturday and Sunday. They're there at the top of the 7-day forecast. Record is 97 on Saturday. It's 96 on Sunday. Those are definitely in jeopardy. So are the records Monday and Tuesday. And by the way, we'll talk about this in a little bit. We've got the lunar eclipse Sunday night. We mentioned it yesterday, but we'll give you some of the details again. The totality is anywhere from 10:30 to about 11:54 Sunday night if you want to check that out. The weather should cooperate.
That's good news there.
Pretty cool. Thank you, Justin. 918, about 76 degrees.
Baby formula shortage has some parents turning to social media to help feed their babies. Coming up next, a warning from pediatricians to parents buying formula from people online.
921, dire and desperate, words parents are using as they struggle to find baby formula.
The shortage forcing parents to do whatever is necessary to feed their babies, which now means turning to social media. 12 on your side's Marilyn Ward says parents are turning to other parents to get their hands on formula.
I have maybe a week left of formula left. And that's scary.
Emily Clayton never dreamed she'd be desperate to find food for her baby Finley.
There are times where I visit 5 stores in a day.
Only to find shelves like this with little to no formula. Emily turned to social media, posting her plea like so many others nationwide. She drove miles to pick up a single can.
Another can that I was supposed to pick up last night and trade some of his baby items for. That's a huge thing too, trading old baby items for formula.
Online, she's discovered generosity, but also greed as scammers take advantage.
Moms will sell formula and then not ship it to other moms, or they'll sell it for a really jacked up price.
Pediatricians hear the frustration, but warn.
Do not buy it from a non-reputable supplier. We want to make sure that that we know what your baby's getting and that it's been screened through the FDA.
And Dr. Courtney Smith says you need to know it was properly stored. Adding to Emily's struggle, not every store accepts WIC as payment. The WIC program has expanded its purchase options and tells us if clients can't find their brand or sizes, to contact their local WIC office.
Manufacturers and retailers saying they are doing the best they can to put more product on the shelves. As for the FDA, they say they are making it high priority, working round the clock.
So are parents like Emily, coping with a shortage that no one can say when it will end.
I mean, the only thing we can do is, I don't know. I don't know. I'm at a loss for answers at this point.
Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
She's a mom, teacher, and now you can add award-winning author.
Marcia Nicholson is among the 90 authors attending the 10th Annual San Antonio Book Festival at the Central Library and Southwest School of Art on the 21st.
She'll represent the Alamo City, and it's her latest work grabbing literary acclaim. Stefania Jimenez sat down with her to discuss the latest award-winning book that she hopes will motivate and inspire young readers.
It's about a young woman who's a senior in high school. Her name is Milagros Vargas. She likes to go by Millie. Her family came to the United States as undocumented immigrants.
That's the premise for Marcia Nicholson's latest book, Where I Belong. The story's themes are universal. At the center is Millie, a Guatemalan-American teenager living in Corpus Christi, struggling to find her place.
I'm at Cole Park in Corpus Christi, Texas, and this is one of Millie's favorite places.
Her mother works for a wealthy family, Mr. Wheeler. He's running to be senator in Texas, and one evening when he's talking about how he wants to help immigrants, he uses Millie and her family as an example of immigrants who came to the United States, worked hard, and now she's about to go to Stanford University with a full ride scholarship. So he kind of puts her in the spotlight, which is the last place she ever wanted to be. So she's kind of being pushed now to be a voice for the issue, but at the same time she's receiving online threats and being harassed on social media. So she has to kind of decide, make a choice what she wants to do.
In some ways, Millie's story gives you a glimpse into the author's own backstory.
My family came to the United States as undocumented immigrants, and my sister was born here in the United States, so I kind of did feel like I didn't quite belong here, but I never lived in Guatemala, so I never felt like I really belonged there either.
And like her character, Marcia found her way. The wife and mom of 3 is also an elementary school teacher and accomplished author. Where I Belong, her 5th book, is a recipient of the Pura Belpre Award, a distinction given to Latino or Latina writers who celebrate Latino experiences in youth literature.
As a teacher, I just want to spend most of my time just creating and doing things for young people, because I just feel like, you know, they are our future, and I just feel like there's so much that we can teach them, or that so many messages that are important for them to learn.
Marcia's leading by example. She says that her book took her 10 years to write, and she hopes that her story inspires other young people to follow their dreams. You could meet Marcia during the San Antonio Book Festival. It takes place on May 21st. Stefania Jimenez, KSAT 12 News.
926, 77 degrees.
And there's a lot more ahead on GMSA at 9, including what federal authorities are seeing in our area regarding ghost guns, which have become a major issue nationwide.
And when we come back, Courtney Friedman is going to join us to talk about the latest on the hepatitis outbreak happening around the globe right now, including here at home. Welcome back. For the past couple of weeks, we've been looking at outbreaks of hepatitis in children worldwide. CDC alert last night asked parents to be on the, hang on one second here. They're asking folks to, more than 100 cases are being investigated in the U.S. across 27 states, and apparently 5 children have died.
And we do have hepatitis cases here in San Antonio, and doctors are now looking closely at one specific case. So Courtney Friedman joins us now to tell us more about it. Hey, good morning.
Hi, Courtney.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, this is really something that we need to be paying attention to, obviously, as these cases rise. I've done a few stories now about the strange situation happening around the world. Doctors still don't know exactly what's causing these clusters of cases in children, but there is a theory. 70% of children affected had a strain of what's called an adenovirus. It's a common virus that can cause many things from just a cold all the way to hepatitis, which we know is liver disease. A two-year-old girl here in San Antonio confirmed to have had adenovirus, and that has now turned into hepatitis. I was able to speak with her mother last week, who says the little girl had seemingly unrelated symptoms, a little vomiting, a cough only at night, diarrhea, and then eventually yellowing of the eyes and skin. That is called jaundice, and it signals liver failure, triggered by hepatitis.
I don't want anybody to have fear from our story. I want them to be, more or less, I did this to be proactive on what to expect.
She advises parents to watch these symptoms closely, to know what to look for, and to bring your child into the doctor quickly to get tested, especially if you start to see any yellowing of the skin or eyes.
And very scary situation there. Is it rare for these cases to happen in San Antonio?
So, you know, I spoke with a doctor before I spoke with this mother the week before, and they said it's actually not uncommon. Hepatitis happens every single year. They have these cases come in. What's not common are the clusters, the clustering of cases, the so-called outbreaks. That typically doesn't happen. And so what they're looking at is the cases overseas. So most of the cases overseas are in the United Kingdom. And so they're looking at those over 100 UK cases, and the majority of them, like they've now looked at here in the US, are linked to the adenovirus. So they believe maybe a strain of this virus is maybe causing it. But again, they just are not sure because not all of them are the same.
Are the symptoms similar to any other illnesses, Court?
Yes, and I did the story yesterday. I did a story on the Norovirus, which we know if you have kids is the stomach bug that comes around every year, and it's no fun. They're having a strange outbreak right now of Norovirus in spring, which is less common than the winter. And my story yesterday explained that, it's a GI virus, vomiting, diarrhea, stomach pain, sometimes fever. Those are the exact symptoms of hepatitis in the beginning. The main differences that you need to look for are that norovirus is quick, so it lasts 2 to 3 days. Hepatitis becomes more severe over time and it lasts longer. And then, of course, the main thing is that yellowing of the eyes and skin. So definitely be looking out for that.
And have doctors linked it to COVID vaccines?
So that's a big question that we want to make sure people know. There have been no links to the COVID vaccine, but the CDC did put out a health alert yesterday, and they are looking to see if COVID itself may have something to do with it, but as of now, nothing has led to showing that. They are obviously diving into research worldwide and kind of coordinating with their studies, but they have not found any link to COVID as of now.
All right, with a deeper dive on the hepatitis outbreaks, Courtney Friedman, thanks for joining us.
Thanks. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. And taking a look outside with live cam, a humid 77 degrees as the temperatures climb, but it looks like there's some cloud cover out there for now.
For now, we've got some clouds. These will eventually burn off like they often do. We'll see some sun this afternoon. When we're talking about the average temperature for this date, the average high temperature is 85 degrees. We're forecasting to be up around 95. We've been above average, it feels like, for quite a stretch now. We've seen some triple digits, but these above average temperatures are going to continue for several more days, and today is no exception. 95 is what we're going with. It'll feel a little bit warmer than that thanks to humidity. Steph just mentioned that cloud cover. It's still there. You can kind of see some of the cloud streets setting up there around Bexar County. So it'll be mostly cloudy for a while longer before we see partly cloudy skies this afternoon. We've also got some high clouds moving in from some leftover activity yesterday. The rain's gone, but some of that leftover cloud cover is working its way into our area. Otherwise, most of Texas is pretty quiet. Hey, don't forget, we mentioned this with the 7-day forecast a little bit earlier. Total lunar eclipse heads our way Sunday night. We can see it here. I think the weather's going to cooperate. How this works, the sun rays get blocked by the Earth, and only red light remains. So when the moon moves into position, you're going to see kind of a red glow. Should be a really cool sight to see. And again, that is Sunday night, 10:30. Around 10:30 is when it peaks if you want to check it out. Of course, we'll have more information as we get a little bit closer. You can also check out some of the information on our website. And coming up here in just a bit, we'll take a look at the 7-day forecast and get you set for the weekend, too, as far as the weather goes. Coming up here in just a little bit, guys.
Thank you, Justin. Well, ghost guns are becoming a big problem in our country, and they've created guns created with the help of computers.
The Biden administration has announced plans to rein in ghost guns to cut down on violent crime. Lee Waldman spoke with an agent from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. She shows us what they're seeing across the country and here in San Antonio.
A privately made firearm, which is a PMF, is often called a ghost gun because it's not marked with a serial number.
The lack of serial numbers makes it hard for law enforcement to trace if that gun was used in a crime, which is why Melissa Garcia with ATF says they're gearing up to implement changes.
It will require markings, including a serial number, so that their firearms can be traced if recovered by law enforcement. And it also requires a background check to be completed before a partially completed firearm or firearms kits can be sold.
According to data from San Antonio Police, there have been 62 homicides so far this year. That's up from 42 this time last year. National data from ATF shows between January 2016 and December 2021, 45,000 reports of suspected ghost guns were recovered by law enforcement. 692 were used in homicides or robberies. Here in San Antonio, exact numbers are hard to get, but trends are clear.
There's definitely been an increase.
Lone Star Handgun President Josh Felker doesn't think this rule change is the answer in reducing violent crime.
Criminals, all of a sudden, they can't
get or manufacture their own gun in the house or steal it from somebody else, there's millions and millions and millions of guns out there.
He explained even a gun with a serial number can be made untraceable by filing it off. Felker says they conduct background checks, but says it's difficult when dealing with a stolen firearm.
If I were to be able to go quickly online and go, hey, this gun was stolen, you're a criminal or you're dealing with a stolen firearm. No, I buy it. We hope that it's not stolen.
Lee Waldman, KSAT 12 News.
Rule changes for ghost guns don't go into effect until August. Senator Ted Cruz and 21 others introduced a Congressional Review Act joint resolution of approval to try and block it.
And speaking of crime, Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar says he needs more deputies on the streets to stop the spike in crime in growing areas of the county. He wrote a letter to county commissioners on Friday asking for funding for 12 more deputies and 5 criminal investigators to handle violent crimes.
The sheriff said there's been a rise in crimes, especially when it comes to stolen weapons. In that letter, he referenced an unsolved string of car break-ins in West Bexar County in April, where the suspects were openly carrying guns in Alamo Ranch neighborhoods.
People are leaving guns in cars. People are getting their guns stolen out of cars, and then those guns are being in turn used to commit violent crimes.
And Sheriff Salazar told us he hopes to meet with commissioners in the next few weeks before their budget is presented.
9:38, about 77 degrees. You're watching GMSA at 9.
And coming up after the break, some reassurance for Spurs fans. We'll be right back.
9:41, we've been talking about this for, it seems like a couple weeks now. Don't worry, Spurs fans. The Spurs are apparently not going anywhere.
That's right. They released a letter from managing partner Peter J. Holt yesterday to try and calm the concerns of fans who were worried that the ownership was exploring the possibility of moving the NBA franchise out of San Antonio.
Those concerns twofold. One, the sale of over 30% ownership of the team to outside investors last year, including billionaire Michael Dell up in Austin. And more recently, the Spurs requested to play as many as 8 home games away from the AT&T Center over the next 2 seasons, and that included 4 up in Austin.
So here's what the letter said, in part, quote, "I love you. I love the city. A big city with a casual small town feel and a great basketball team. I want to reassure you that the Spurs are in San Antonio to stay."
Went on to say there are no Spurs without the city and people of San Antonio. Your team, our team, together we are the Silver and Black. Spurs fans, we are here to stay. Por vida, which translates to for life.
And in a vote last Tuesday, the Commissioners Court only allowed 4 games to be played outside of the AT&T Center next season. That will include 2 in Austin, 1 in Mexico, and 1 in the Alamo Dome as part of the Spurs' 50th anniversary celebration.
County Judge Nelson Wolf and San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg reacting to the letter, saying, quote, "Peter J. Holt's heartfelt statement could not have been said any better and should put speculation about the San Antonio Spurs' plans to rest. We have full confidence the Spurs will stay in San Antonio for decades to come," end quote.
Well,
and that, as they say, might be that. I don't know. There was a discussion yesterday all day after the Holt letter came out. Did this help or did this hurt? I know some people are still a little skeptical.
I think a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah, on both. We just want them to stay, of course.
When you've got a good thing, you hang on for
very
dear
tight.
life, right?
Very
we
tight.
have for decades, and hopefully we will for many more decades to come. All right, Justin joins us now with more. And you brought this graphic up this morning, and it's really kind of sets the table for our grave concerns this time of year about what can happen with severe weather.
Very good point. Yes, this is the time of year for severe weather. April and May are big months for tornadoes here in the state of Texas. I want to show you the list of the top 10 tornadoes. And the reason I show you this, and by the way, this is since 1900, but the reason I show you this is the anniversary of the deadliest tornado in Texas history. And that happened in Waco in 1953 on this date. And you see the list there, everything is April or May. So it gives you an idea of when severe weather is at its peak here in Texas. But back in 1953, that tornado in Waco moved right through downtown. It did a ton of damage. Sadly, it killed 114 people, injured 597, and destroyed more than 600 homes and businesses. So that is a day that many people in Waco will not forget and still is remembered to this day. Again, one of the deadliest tornado in Texas history. We did have some severe weather yesterday across parts of Texas, but nothing like they were seeing back then. We did have some big storms up across the Texas Panhandle. A few storms here near Del Rio. Did drop some decent rain, as we showed you earlier, but everything has died out. And while we could see a few more showers and storms today, I think the bigger storms are going to be out west, far west Texas and into New Mexico, so away from us. We're not getting any rain out of the current pattern, and blue skies are already starting to show up there over the airport. 77 degrees right now, 82 Stinson, 79 Kelly, 77 at Randolph, and you've got a southeasterly breeze that is gusting somewhere up there around 20 miles per hour or so, and that trend will continue today. 80 in New Braunfels, 76 in Uvalde, 73 Rock Springs, and mostly 70s here across Bexar County right now, with the exception being Stinson, already up to 82. We know these numbers are going to be warm this afternoon, and the dew points are going to be up there too. Now, I think that these dew points will try to fall off some this afternoon, but at the moment we are still in the oppressive category. It is still very sticky out there. And I'll zoom out some and show you the state of Texas. Dry line will set up again today, but it's going to be a little further west, as I said. So it's out here where we could see some of those bigger storms today. Not necessarily over central Texas or where we are. It's just we're just too far removed from any energy or any lift. The dew point tracker, and I think this is important to point out, that while we have the high dew points this morning, they do drop off during the afternoon, and this particular model brings dew points down into the dry category during the afternoons as we head into Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But what that does is when we lose the humidity, drier air tends to warm up more, so we just get hotter temperatures. It really is a trade-off. Any way you slice it, it's going to be hot as we head into the weekend, and we could be challenging some records. Here's the setup across the country, and it's been a pretty interesting one to watch over the last week or so. We've got a big trough out west, and that's producing cool weather. Places like Boise sitting at 37. It's 45 right now in Seattle. And then you've got a ridge across the middle part of the country, and look at that temperature in Chicago, 80 degrees. At this time of the morning, that is well above ours for those folks up there. So the heat is racing up the plains and up into the Midwest. And then on the backside of it, we've got an area of low pressure there along the East Coast that's producing some cool weather there. We've been kind of stuck in the middle where it is hot and where it is dry. And today, no exception. 86 degrees noontime will be around 95 by 4 p.m., 95 by 5 p.m. And I should point out, too, that it will feel warmer than that with humidity levels probably somewhere in the 60s, the dew points, I should say, in the 60s. That'll make it feel like it's 97, 98 later today. Temperatures slowly fall into the upper 80s by 8 p.m., 85 by 9 p.m. And the extended forecast, 96 Thursday, 96 Friday, 97 Saturday, 97 Sunday. Again, with some slightly lower humidity over the weekend, but those records are in jeopardy. They're Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So we keep this very hot May, this trend of hot temperatures going into next week.
All right, we'll prepare for it, Justin.
Yep.
Thanks.
Time check 9:48, about 77 degrees.
And as we say goodbye to the iPod, we look back at all that it has brought us. We'll share that story when we come back.
Welcome back, 9:51. Well, it revolutionized how we all listen to music, but all good things must come to an end.
Apple's iPod is about to go extinct. ABC's Will Gans takes us back to the beginning of the iPod days and explains how it paved the way for the iPhone.
21 years ago, Apple got its groove on the go. Introducing the iPod in 2001.
iPod, 1,000 songs in your pocket.
The original iPod weighed 6.5 ounces and had a display screen of 2 square inches, costing $400 with a battery life of 10 whole hours. Back then, digitally downloading your favorite music was a novel concept.
A new online music store from Apple Computer called iTunes. It sells single songs for 99 cents each.
And with each new version of the iPod, competitors tried to keep up.
Just yesterday, the Dish Network released its Pocket Dish with a screen up to 7 inches holding 40 hours of video.
But as of this morning, cue up the Don McLean. It's
the day the music died.
The tech company revealing Tuesday that its iPod Touch will only be available while supplies last, effectively ending the iPod line after more than 2 decades in production. Former Apple VP Tony Fadell, credited with inventing the iPod, telling the Wall Street Journal, if we didn't do the iPod, the iPhone wouldn't have come out. It brought Steve Jobs confidence that we could do something outside of the map and that we could actually continue to innovate in new areas. In addition to revolutionizing the music industry, many credit the iPod with introducing them to Apple, and of course giving us all those funky commercials over the years. So now that we know that they're going the way of the Walkman, is there added value to an iPod? Well, the original 2001 models are going at about $400 used on eBay this morning, and if it's new, unopened, in its original packaging, I saw one listed for $23,000. Wow. Will Gans, ABC News, New York.
$23,000. Well,
End of an era.
Definitely. Tomorrow on GMSA at 9, one young woman embraced who she was, and it changed her world. How she hopes other teens will embrace her message to love their natural selves.
And you've probably been one of their family's restaurants, Mi Tieta, downtown San Antonio. Now two sisters from that have a new project. Tomorrow on GMSA at 6 a.m. We'll tell you about their new children's book. Justin?
And we're in the upper 70s, on our way to mid-90s today. Another hot, somewhat humid day. Humidity levels do fall off a little bit as we get into the weekend, at least during the afternoons. But the temperatures just go up. So we're talking 97 Saturday, 97 Sunday. There is a very small chance of a storm on Saturday, but that's about all we can give you, 10%. Otherwise, this is a hot, dry forecast.
Hey, we ran a story the other day that college grads, the ones about to walk the stage from college, have radically overestimated how much money they'll be making in their first jobs. Well, we now have a story today that's going to prove they're going to need every single penny because we now know where they want to move here in the U.S. The headline is Top 15 Cities Where College Students Want to Live Post-Graduation, according to this new survey.
Yeah, and these are expensive cities.
Oh, no doubt.
Number one,
so here's the top 15. Number 2, New York. Good luck.
Number 3, Los Angeles. Number 4, Denver.
Number 5, Boston.
Chicago's number 6.
Number 7, Washington.
8, Phoenix.
Number 9, Colorado Springs, Colorado.
And finally, we see Texas at number 10 for the Austin, Texas.
That's right. Number 11 was Portland.
And San Francisco coming in at number 12.
Twin Cities coming in number 13.
Another Texas city at number 14, Dallas.
And finally, number 15, Hotlanta. All right, so this is Axios Generation Lab, their new cities index. This is of people ages 18 to 24. Now listen to this. Female students chose New York as their top choice. Seattle was also a popular choice for politically independent students.
What I found interesting about this is that the list of cities from today, as opposed to the cities, it was the U-Haul did the study yesterday.
Penske.
Where people are actually moving, it kind of doesn't match up.
It doesn't really match up. So independents wanted to move to Seattle. Republicans chose Austin over other cities, and Democrats overwhelmingly picked New York City as their post-grad destination. Surprised by any of this at all, Justin?
The Austin one.
It is a little odd to me. I'm trying to figure out the connections there. But,
It was filtered by metrics like gender and political party affiliation. So there's part of it right there.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Have a good day.